This video is brought to you by Draeger's Classics. Hi, I'm Jerry Draeger, Draeger's International Classic Sales in Seattle, Washington. We're here at Draeger's Clubhouse to show you this 1950 Chevy 5-window pickup. So you can see it really well. It's a good looking rig. It's a really straight body. The paint is decent on it, but there is some chips and scratches in the paint in places. There was a dent in the fender over there, and I actually reached under and was able to push it out a bit, and I brush touched it. It doesn't look perfect, but it's better than it was. Anyway, this truck, I found it. The guy had bought it from a guy back east, and the guy back east spent $4,600 rebuilding the engine on this truck. Why he would spend that much money rebuilding the engine on this truck, I don't know. But he did, and so it runs great. You'll see the clutch assembly in there on the Underside videos, and I've driven it a lot. It runs, drives great. I think you'll be real happy with it. It does have some rust issues underneath. Not giant, but there are some issues there. I think you'll find that this is a very decent truck. Now I want to tell you, this truck is really straight. I mean, you look down at the paint on here, whoever painted this truck really did a good job on it. It must have been a while back, because it's got a lot of chips and scratches everywhere you look here. You'll find some scratches and chips in the paint. There's not any dents in it. That might even rub out right there. That's a scratch right there. There's a chip in the paint. You know, some of that stuff you could actually brush touch and they'd go away. Like right here, there's a couple of spots. And of course on this running board, there's quite a few spots because people step on it and everything else. And again, of course, the 5-window pickup, you know, they look great. The window, this window is a little tough. It's not bad, but you know, if I get in there and oil it up a little bit, I'm sure it would work a lot better. And of course, the doors close good. I mean, everything works great on it. Again, there you can find a little chip here and there. There's a scratch right there in the paint. Some chips along here. But you know, overall, this thing's really straight, nice, and I want to tell you, there's a lot of reflection in this paint. So this top of this hood all looks good, all along here. Everything looks good. This front end is pretty. I mean, with the chrome bumper and the chrome grille, and of course the black hood and everything, and all the hood looks good. Now I would tell you, there's 2 holes up in here, and at some point they make a piece of chrome that goes on here, but it actually had other holes in here. So somebody had something on there, I don't know what, and this is the way you're buying it with the holes in it. And the grill, it looks good, you know, but it's old and it's got some tarnish to it all along. But you got to be up close to see it. So there's tarnish there. There's some chips in the paint here, discoloration. And the bumper, it's good. It's not new, but it looks good all the way across. Right here I was noticing I think if I had taken some rubbing compound, it looks like white overspray. Somebody got some overspray on there. But the rest of this all looks just fine. To open the hood, you just reach right underneath there and pull, and then there's another little safety lever right there, and you just lift this up. Now, as I've told you, it's not a show quality truck, just like some of the stuff we pointed out on the front end and the grill and the tarnish there. But you know, this thing really has got a good look to it. And if you put wide whites on here, it would really look good. It's got lots of tread on there, and you may like that rally look on there. But wide whites would look good too. And again, this is, I almost forgot, because you don't notice it quite as much, but it had 2 white long scratches. If you look at the photos, you may see it, and it was dented. And I reached up underneath there and pushed really hard, and it popped out. And I just brush touched that in. So that turned out pretty well, and a good guy would make it look a lot better. There's a little light scratch there. So I mean, there are some issues along here. Also, even on the other side, I didn't point it out, but there are like a little bit of chips in the hood here, you see in places. But overall, and this down here, there's chips along here. And of course the running boards, you know, people stood on them and everything. There's a little chip in the paint, and there's another couple of chips in there. All this looks good. And there's chips here in the door. There's a scratch right there. So, and there's another chip in the door, more chips there. So there are some things here, but you know, if you look at it, it's really straight. Now these doors open good. This window actually works better than the other window on the other side, but it's a little bit stiff too, but it's not bad. And again, the door closes good. Your filler cap for your gas, all the rocker. Looks good with that Cushmen Eagle in there, but that does not go with it, so don't get excited. I've had that for a while. There's some more, there's a chip, and I don't know what that is, but you see we got chips here in the paint, but there's no dents. And of course we got some rub marks where stuff has been rubbed across the top of this a little bit. There's a long scratch right there on the inside. And there's that's more like a mar than anything, and a couple of scratches, a couple of spots. So this is kind of what you're looking at on this truck, is just a few issues in the paint. Rear bumper on here, it's real good across there. It's not brand new or anything, but it's in good shape. This tailgate is, of course, it's got a lot of mars across here. It's even been brush touched a little bit at times. That's polish marks there, I see. There's a chip, you know, and there's some marks right here. Anyway, we got marks all across here, but we do have both lights plus your turn signals down underneath here. So you got all the extra lighting on here. Open the tailgate, you just undo the chains on both sides. Now you can let it all the way down if you want. It'll sit on against the bumper down there, but you can also put it in the hole right there and hold that. And you can see it's got the wood bed is good. It's old, you know. I mean, there's a crack along there in the wood, and I don't know that you would stain it. Maybe you want to paint it black. You can see we got a lot of scratches on the bed here. It's been used, and this is a truck you could use. It'd make a good truck for a driver truck for somebody. I think you'll find that you'll have a good time with this truck, and I don't think you'll have to spend any money on it to speak of. Now the interior on this truck, it's a little tired. We have a bad spot here in the seat, and there's some bad spots right here on this edge here. But basically the rest of the seat looks good. The steering wheel is old, you know, and it's got a few little issues and spots in it, but it's not as bad as some of them I've seen. The dash, it's kind of a flat, but it's kind of the correct color. And it's got the original radio in it, does not work. And it's got a heater underneath here, you can see. And that heater is all hooked up, but the fan doesn't blow. The switch lights up. And this headliner in here is cloth. So I'm not, normally it'd be a hard board type thing as the stock setup on it. And it even has a fire extinguisher. Have no idea how good that fire extinguisher is. I suppose it would pay to get it tested to make sure it's good. We have visors on here also. I mean, those look brand new. They haven't been in here very long. The gauges all look good, so you can see them well and everything. And all the gauges are working. When you're going down the road, they work. Now this thing had a terrible carpet thing in it. It was all wrinkly. It was a cheapy thing. Anyway, Andrew bought a new rubber mat for it and put it in here, and it looks much, much better. And there's photos of these floor pans underneath here when we had this off, so you can see them in the photos. Brand new gas tank. Floor pan under the seat looks real good. There's patches in front, but this back looks great. Now you can see this plate right here, it's screwed in. I assume there's rust behind there. There's the only reason for putting that plate in there. Have no idea. I'm not going to take it off to find out, but it is there. You can see right there, this kick panel is same way. It looks like it's been welded up through there, so that's some rust repair. This had carpet on it, and so Andrew ordered new door panels on both sides, so these are brand new. This is the heater fan blower, and you can see it lights up, but the fan does not blow. As we showed you, the heater blower doesn't blow. It's back there, it turns, but there you can open these doors up to get more heat out. This is pretty interesting how this works. This is a wheel here, and you adjust this up so it rubs against the back of the steering wheel, so that when you turn it on, that wheel will actually rub. Sometimes it will, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, you do have turn signals on there. Now, like I told you before, the gauges all work. You can see the amp gauge going up, oil pressure gauge going up, and of course the temperature gauge, because we've been running it, it's up there, and it's not overheating. The speedometer and odometer both work too. I just want to talk about this radio again. This is an original radio in here, and it's really a good, I mean, it really looks good. It's really ornate, I would say. Anyway, you could get this fixed, I'm sure. And right here, of course, the glove box. Oops, there you hit that. We didn't put this new glove box in there, but it's got a new glove box liner. Okay, I'm going to turn the headlights on here so you can see the headlights, high beam, low beam, and then we're going to do the left turn signal. Now the right turn signal. This also has a canceller on it. It kind of works. It just depends how it's adjusted against the steering wheel. The wipers, they work, and they're vacuum wipers, so they work better when it's rain, and the wiper blades are bad too, so it needs that. And the horn honks. So you're in good shape. But also, you have air conditioning with this vent right here. You can open it up, it lets air in. Of course, you close her down when you want it warmer. Okay, park lights, tail lights, brake lights, left turn signal, right turn signal. So you're all set and ready to roll. You can see that this 216, of course, it's all brand new. It has very few miles of any on it since it was all rebuilt, and it's real nice and clean. The firewall back here, you can see there's missing paint in there in places, but it's not all beat up and banged up. And the inner fender wells, they could be painted on and cleaned up and made show a little better. But overall, it's a decent truck. Wood bed looks real good and solid underneath here. All this framework here looks good. All the frame, I mean, the frame is good and solid on there. It's not rusted out like you see on some of these rigs. As I was telling you, this frame is in great shape. It's solid. There's no rust in it anywhere. You know, it's got surface on it, but that's it. This is a good solid truck, and you can see the rear end is clean. It's not fancy. This has been painted black. Continuing forward on here, again, the frame and everything else looks all real good and solid. There's a hole in the muffler right here, and you know, it's not loud. You'll listen to it going down the road and everything, and it doesn't make any noise. We're not replacing it. You're buying it just the way you see it. Now we're getting up here, and both cab corners, they've been reworked, and there's glass, fiberglass up in here and stuff. Now you can see fiberglass up in here in places and stuff, and I just wanted to show you that a little closer. So the corners have been replaced, and this, I can see like it might be something in here, in this area here. But you know, you look at this floor pan across here, this all looks real good. It's all good and solid. And again, on this side over here, you can see that this side here, it's been reworked also up in here. You can see that this cab corner is a lot better condition than the other one. But the drain vents are still in there and everything, so it's not a total loss. And again, the frame is good and solid. Now up here in the front part of the floor pans, there's some spots. That just That's like undercoating there. It just came off. I don't think that was rust at all. I think just some undercoating. But you can see over in here in this area up in here, there's some bad spots in here. It's been patched. And you can see on the floor pans too, and the photos that I've taken, the floor pans where your feet go has got some plating in there, and it's not all the way through on this side, but they plated it on the top side. You can see the master cylinder sits right here, and this is a 3-speed on the column, and the transmission size difference between a 3-speed and a 4-speed is astronomical difference. I mean, they're just a lot smaller transmission. This is the underside of the 216. And again, the guy spent $4,000 rebuilding it, and you can see the clutch plate set up in here. It's all brand new and everything. Andrew's going to look and see if he can find a cover for it. We didn't get a cover on it, and we're going to look. It may or may not come with a cover when you get it. We put a cover on here. As you can see, all this front end underneath here is all good and solid. And again, it's really solid. We only have a few spots here with some rust. And other than that, this is a good, solid, great driver. You can see this is a bad spot right here, some rust issues. And this looks like some rust repair here, and also along through here. But not real giant bad or anything. This right front fender underneath, on the back edge of it underneath here, it's got some issues underneath all this places in here and up in here and stuff. Again, it's not major. You can't see it. You'll have a hard time finding it unless you get it up on a hoist. It's nothing that's going to cause you any problems because all this framework, everywhere you look on the frame, is good and solid. Now we're going up onto the freeway, going northbound on I-5 out of Seattle. This gives you a good opportunity to see this truck in action. Speedometer says 60, and I'm not sure where we're at on it mileage-wise. I'm not sure if I ever checked to see how fast the speedometer is. Looks good with that Cushmen in the back, doesn't it? It accelerates well. I had a guy ask, he says, well, it's only a 216. Well, there's not much difference between a 216 and a 235 so far as power goes. And the 216s are still running to this day. Now you'll be able to see the passenger side of this truck going down the road. And it looks just as good, except for maybe that fender up there. Great trucks for driving around and this kind of stuff in town. They just run and drive really, really well. I think that's one of the reasons they're so popular. Well, we're back to Drager's Clubhouse, and this gives you a chance to see this pickup go down the freeway, and I hope you enjoyed the drive, and it gets you a chance to see it performing, and if you've got any interest at all, we do a lot of these trucks, so I'd be more than happy to have you come by and take a look at it and watch the video. Of course, this is really good. 206-533-9600. Thank you very much.
I'm Andrew Drager, and if you have any questions about this vehicle, please don't hesitate to call or email us.
I'm Jerry Drager, and we're a father-son team, and we hope you enjoyed the video and understand that we really try really hard to go over the vehicle with this video to show you everything. Doesn't mean that I get every single spot or anything else, but I try, and Andrew and I both work really hard to make sure the vehicles are in top shape before they leave here. You got any questions, always give us a call or email us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you. We really invite you to come see them. And if you can't, you should have them inspected. I think it's really important to make sure you understand what you're buying.